Hey guys. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I just finished watching Breaking Bad season 5 episode 1 and it was pretty good. So it starts off with this, I believe, future flash in the future, or maybe in the present, or I don't know, but Walt has long hair. He looks very old, very hideous, honestly. And he's in Milwaukee or something. I forgot, guys, whatever. He's in some weird state, and the waitress is like, "Oh, are you going to California?" And he's like, "No, I'm here for business." And a man gives him car keys. And that's pretty much what happens in that scene. Then we flash back to where we were in season 4, where Skylar's like, "What the absolute fuck?" Because Walt's like, "I won." You know, Walt really has bought into this, like, fantasy of, like, being the big bad wolf. He's really bought into this fantasy. Like, he straight up thinks he is the big bad wolf. So this whole episode is basically just showcasing, first and foremost, Jesse's loyalty. He's like, hey, well, obviously we knew Mike was going to come back once he heard news of Gus being killed, because Mike was pretty cool. He was pretty chill with Gus, and Gus paid him very well. By the way, today's my birthday, so make sure you pledge to the Kickstarter just to say a little happy birthday to the queen. Okay, pledge to the Kickstarter so we can get our manga up and running. We're going to be making physical copies, so you want to pledge $15 to be able to get that physical copy of the manga. So Jesse was being his loyal self, and he was telling Mike, "Hey, Mike, do not kill Walt. Do not kill Walt. Let him explain himself. Let him explain. Let him explain. Let him explain." And Walt really didn't explain himself that well, in my opinion, or that much. Basically, obviously, it was kill or be killed. And so I guess ultimately Mike came to understand that. And he was just like, well, I guess, you know, the smarter guy in the room won. So, okay, I guess. Guys, I think I'm starting my emo era. What do you think? This was, of course, my birthday makeup, but I think this, for me, is the beginning of my emo era. Ooh, I can't wear fake jewelry. That stuff irritates the fuck out of my ears. But yeah, Jesse again showed his loyalty to Walt. Do not kill Walt. Leave Walt alone. Leave Walt out of it. Whatever. So now the new problem becomes, since Hank and company, Hank and the other police officers, have now found this cookout because there was a fire at the laundromat. They're collecting evidence. Now they know that there's a camera. The camera's feed was going someplace. Oh, obviously it was going to a laptop. Obviously that laptop was found amongst Gus's things. Obviously Walt and Jesse are cooking in that laptop. Mike sometimes making an appearance to show up, you know, weigh some of the product, take it out of the room and whatnot, so on and so forth, etc. So now we're faced with a problem where this laptop needs to be found and this laptop needs to be destroyed. So the crew decide to finally listen to Jesse. And guys, just while we're on the subject, while we're about to be on the subject of laughter, I have to bring up the scene where Walt, I think I brought it up in one of my older videos, but just in case I didn't, because I was watching pretty fucking late at night. But just in case I didn't bring it up, this is oil. My scalp is really dry. Ooh, it feels so good. Just in case I didn't bring it up, Walt laughing when he was asking Skylar for the money was the most hysterical thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. Now, it makes sense, you know, that's like a very sad scene and like he's at his wit's end and it's like do or die, and in that moment it was just fucking die. In that moment, what it came down to was just die. There was no more due. Like, there was no money. There was no, you know, getaway for them. Because the disappear you for a big butt guy, he needed to be paid before he moved a muscle. And Walt didn't have the money because Skylar gave almost $1 million of it to Ted. Ted's dumbass did not, in fact, die. He just, it looks like he had a really bad concussion. But by the looks of his neck, he died. But apparently, no, he just had a really bad concussion. So he had to get brain surgery. They probably just cracked open his skull a little bit so his brain swelling could swell outside of the skull and then go back to normal or whatever, because he's conscious. He's talking to Skylar. He is fucking terrified of Skylar. He's like, I have kids. I have a family. I will not tell anyone what's happened, okay? And Skylar's like, good. And she leaves. So the remainder of this episode is just really Walt intimidating the people in his life. Saul has done nothing but everything Walt wanted, you know? And Walt put Skylar in charge of his money. Now, does it make sense, like, man to man? Okay, this is somebody that my wife fucked. Because Walt did tell Saul about that. He literally told Saul about that. So this is someone that my wife fucked. Does it make sense, man to man, for you to give my wife money to give to this man? No, it does not. Does it make sense, lawyer to woman? But business transactional? Yes, it does make sense. So I'm kind of with Saul on this one. And then Walt gets his dumb, ugly ass up and he's hugging on, first and foremost, he threatens Saul and he's like, because Saul's like, we're done here, like, leave. What the fuck? Get out. Like, if you can't handle the fucking predicament you put yourself in by giving your wife control over your assets, then fuck you. Get out of my office. And Walt's like, we're done when I say we're done. And Saul's like, what the fuck? Because Walt, you gotta think about it. Walt has a big head now. He's killed drug lord after drug lord. Tuco. Hank killed him. Hank killed a lot of the drug lords. I don't think about it. Holy shit. Bleed him Hank. That's fucking Bleed him Hank for you. But yeah, Walt killed Gus, probably one of the biggest, most cutthroat drug lords. He killed Gus. So he's got a big head right now. He's walking around, you know, after the laptop was destroyed. Cracked screen. That's not destroyed. All of the data is still on that laptop. But after the screen was cracked on the laptop, Walt's like... Mike's like, how do you know it's broken? How do you know that's it? How do you know it's done? And Walt's like, because I said so. Like, okay, jackass. Like, he's just being a jackass at this point. And then at the end of this episode, we see him, like, hugging Skylar, it looks like. She's very uncomfortable. She already stated earlier in the episode that she's scared of Walt, and rightfully so. This motherfucker is sadistic. He's scary. He's weird. She's like, Walt, was this you? Obviously, Walt killed Gus. That's why you're safe. Obviously. Like, this shit is happening in real time, Skylar. Obviously it was Walt. But I think his answer is what scared her. She already knew, like, Walt killed Gus. But his answer to that was probably what freaked her out. I won? That just puts his priorities, like, into his ego. You know what I'm saying? That just proves his priorities are in his ego. Instead of I won, how about I did what I had to do to save the family? And that would have been for real. Because, you know, he's been trying to kill Gus, but he didn't have, like, the actual, like, gumption and gall and, like, okay, let's sit down and make a real plan. That didn't involve a little fucking cigarette, a fake cigarette with, what the fuck is it called? Racin? I forgot. Who cares? That doesn't fucking involve arsenic or whatever the fucking thing is called. He actually sat down and made a real plan. Once his family was mentioned by Gus, he said, I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter. That's when Walt was like, okay, no, we need to get the fuck out of here. We're not. And that's when he had his fucking laugh scene. Guys, that shit lives in my head rent free. Skylar was so afraid. Skylar was shaking in her goddamn boots. She was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? She's like, I gave the money to Ted. He's like, and he's like wheezing, right? With his cancer throat, like he's wheezing. That was some nightmare fuel. I will say that was some fucking nightmare fuel. Anyways, can't wait to see what happens next. Walt got rid of all of the, he put in his trunk all the evidence of the bomb he made, of the flour he used to poison the kid, and then we find out that Saul, one of Saul's henchmen, are the one who grabbed the cigarette, the poison cigarette, out of Jesse's pocket, or from Jesse in some way, from his locker, who knows? I don't know. But if you know how or when or where they got the cigarette from Jesse's pocket, let me know down in the comments, please. Anyways, that all being said, it's time for me to take off my makeup and go to sleep. It is now 3 a.m. Not my birthday anymore, but still pledge to the manga to have your contribution count. Comment and subscribe if you like my makeup. Okay, bye.